Welcome back. Now that we have learned about both phases of the S-cubed-D approach, let's look at these two phases in action. In particular, I'm going to share the experience of teacher Warren with the S-cubed-D approach. Warren participated in a professional development program, which I led with two of his colleagues. At the beginning of the PD, I shared this table from NCTM's Principles to Actions for the Effective Teaching Practice, Facilitate Meaningful Mathematical Discourse. Warren had a profound revelation when he viewed the table. He said, all of these actions are occurring in my classroom, but I am the one doing them. Warren's goal over the duration of implementing the S-cubed-D approach was to transfer some of these actions over to his students. Let's look more deeply at what Warren observed in his classroom. For Lens 1, in the group consisting of Helen, John, and Gina, Warren witnessed the blindly accept work of others dynamic. I want to focus your attention on Gina. Gina acknowledges her confusion, but then you could see here she accedes to John's answer based on his perceived academic ability rather than his mathematical reasoning. For Lens 2, only 2 QR pairs are evident, and also note that QR pair 3 is weak. Even though the response is weak, we do want to document that this question was asked and identify this as a goal for improving the discourse quality with this particular group. The next two slides show how Warren documents his observations in these two lenses using the tools. So here's the group dynamics tool, where he documents that the group is demonstrating the blindly accept work of others and put some notes that we discussed. And then here's the discourse quality tool, where Warren puts a tally mark for every question response pair that he observes in this particular interaction. With respect to Lens 3, Warren notices that his go-to way of interacting with groups was product help. A common indicator that product help is going on is this teacher-student interaction pattern. I want you to remember that there's 2 other students in this group, and Warren is solely interacting with Gina. Here are Warren's notes with the teacher support tool, indicating that he was giving product help and giving some notes about that, about his observations. Based on Warren's phase 1 observations and data collection, Warren established goals for this particular group. He wanted his students to contribute explanations, all of them. He also wanted all the students to justify the evaluation of each other's reasoning. He wanted to increase both the quantity as well as the quality of the QR pairs. And he wanted to use process help talk moves rather than the product help. To address this last goal, Warren looked at the talk moves tool. And what he noticed is that for the blindly accept work of others dynamic, there are 2 talk moves that he could use: restate in own words and evaluate students' ideas. And so he chose to focus on integrating these talk moves into his practice. In this dialogue, you can see Warren using that latter talk move, evaluate students' ideas, and he's asking Helen and Gina to evaluate John's reasoning. I want to point out that Helen and Gina do struggle with this a little bit. And like Warren here, as he closes in this dialogue, you may need to provide a little coaching for students about what type of thinking this involves. However, with patience and persistent use of the talk moves, you will see improvement in the student-to-student talk. Again, let's look at the improvement here in this dialogue, especially with Gina. So despite the continued expression of a lack of confidence, we do see a change in Gina here. She progressed from merely accepting an answer to seeking to understand it and listening and critiquing to another's explanation. We can also see an increase in the amount of QR pairs that occurred within this interaction. To close, Warren talks about this experience of engaging with the S-QD approach and how it impacted his practice. He says before groups were just an excuse to have the kids work together on problems. It was as simple as just checking answers. Now my groups collaborate, ask each other questions, and have a better ability to explain their reasoning to and for each other. I don't just approach groups with the intent of helping guide them through a problem, but instead I facilitate and guide their discussions with each other. I hope that this experience of Warren encourages you to engage with the S-QD approach. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me with any questions and access any of the resources. Thank you.